25 December 2185. Systems Alliance Postal Service HQ. New York. Mac or Mackenzie Tyler, as his passport insisted, he was called normally loved his job. He was the postmaster of the New York branch for the System Alliance Postal Service. At age 24, he was the youngest person to ever hold that job. He had blonde hair in a buzz cut and green eyes that were normally friendly. But tonight, they were filled with anger and frustration. Under the previous Grand Postmaster, who everybody had called RC, the Postal Service had dealt with letters to Santa the same way the U.S. Postal Service had. This meant that letters were set aside, and then an employee would write a reply as if they were Santa. Then the original letter and the reply would be sent back to the sender. Only letters that lacked a return address could not be dealt with. But RC had retired last year. And the new Grand Postmaster, a nasty man called Gerald Rynch, with a black hole where his heart should be, had ordered all letters to Santa shredded. Worse, he had canceled all Christmas celebrations and turned December 25th and 26th into regular workdays like any other. So here Mac was, overseeing a skeleton crew. Most of the employees had called in sick as a form of protest and shredding letters to Santa. He looked up to the big window that allowed Rynch to oversee the work floor. The man stood there, watching. Then, after what felt like forever, he finally turned away and went to his desk.
Town, always the class clown. I wasn't miserable, just learned quickly that happiness is only fictional. And if today's kids expect a pamper, then they better go and scamper, because this is the real world and it is cruel, when anybody who thinks otherwise is a fool. This is like that. Accept it just like that.
Thousands of miles away from Mac and Rynch, Olivia Rodriguez was sitting in her room in the Advanced Training Academy for Juveniles. Her parents lived on the Citadel and were unable to afford the ticket there, so she was spending Christmas as the school. On the bright side, her room was on the top floor. This meant she could sneak onto the roof whenever she felt like it, and from there, she had the most amazing view of Buenos Aires. To be honest, it wasn't Olivia's handiwork that she could go up there. A long time ago, somebody with initials SH had picked the lock on the maintenance hatch she used to get there. She'd just put a fresh poster over the hatch to camouflage it. "Just like in that old movie I named you for Red," she said to her toy hamster. "Get busy living or get busy dying." She planned to do the first. After one last hurried glance to make sure the staff wasn't anywhere near, she slipped through the hatch and climbed up.
kitchen smells come up the chimney like a blanket wrapped around me. Yes, I miss Mom and Dad, but up here it's not so bad. And Red is the coolest hamster in town, always listens when something makes me frown. He gives the best hugs you could hope for, never complains when I ask for more. The town is pretty nice and warm. Yes, I know snow has its charm, but I'm not one for the cool after all. I'm not wrinkly yet or old. Staying on the roof till dinner time, then we're having pastrami, which is just fine, especially if dessert is Mr. DeSottle's ice. The chocolate flavor is really nice. Christmas is great and I don't have much longer to wait.
Dinner was great as Olivia expected, especially Mr. DeSalle's chocolate ice cream. After dinner, she went back to room. She reading in bed. Her English teacher, Mr. Wallace, had told her to read an old-timey book during the Christmas vacation. Fortunately, S.H., whoever that was, had left behind a copy of Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. It had even come with a note. "If you ever need help, send a message to," and then came an extranet mail address that made her frown. Steve H., could S.H. be? She shook her head. No way somebody that important would just leave his extranet address laying around. She turned the page. Next door, Mark Vale had his television on, and then somebody called Mackenzie Tyler started talking to the reporter. He told the lady how he had been ordered by his boss to shred all the letters to Santa. Suddenly, he note from the old book felt like it was glowing from the inside. Deciding she had nothing to lose, she turned on her laptop. That nasty man is trying to ruin Christmas. She opened the message program and began typing. Light years away and several hours later, Admiral Stephen Hackett was reading reports when his computer pinged. He checked it and frowned. His old extranet address. How was that even possible? He hadn't used that since. And then realization came. The copy of A Tale of Two Cities had left in his desk. He opened the message and began reading.
We're racing to Earth, drives burning for all that there were. Admiral needed a ride so that we provide. After all, he's the boss, and going home is no loss. With family and friends, until surely then, race down to earth for all that we're worth. Christmas is the best time of the year. We're so glad that it's here. here. Once we get to Earth, we'll dry dock at Perth, tour Australia 8. If we don't get there too late, passing Luna now, beat our records somehow. Racing to racing to racing to racing to
Earth, 26 December, 2185. Mac sat in his apartment, watching his favorite doctor who Christmas special twice upon a time and drank hot chocolate milk. During his lunch break, he had talked to a reporter called Emily Wung. She had heard rumors of what was going with Rinch and had come to see firsthand. So he had told her truth. He had been well aware of what the consequences would be, and when he had come back from lunch, Rinch had been waiting for him. He had been unceremoniously fired, so he had packed his things and gone home. On the bright side, his mother had called and told him she was proud of him. 5 minutes after she had hung up, his father had done the same. It was the first time since their divorce 2 years ago that they had agreed on anything. The first doctor had just started regenerating when his phone rang. He paused and picked up. It was Yenna Tikara, the Asari who had been appointed his interim replacement despite not wanting the job. In fact, she had yelled several very impolite terms at Rinch when he had first ordered the letters shredded. Some things apparently crossed species boundaries, and deliberately making children miserable was one of them. "Hi, Yenna, what's wrong?" Her reply made him frown. "What do you mean Admiral Hackett is here?" 30 minutes later, he arrived at the office just in time to see security haul Rinch's furniture out. Admiral Hackett was talking to Yenna, while a 12-year-old girl stood nearby. She was holding a stuffed toy hamster, and from her appearance, Mac guessed she was from South America. He gave her his best smile. "Hello, I'm Mackenzie Tyler, but everybody calls me Mac." "Hello, Mac, I'm Olivia Rodriguez. Everybody calls me Olivia?" They laughed. "I saw you on the news telling everybody what your nasty boss was making you do, so I sent a message asking for help. And then Admiral Hackett showed up. It's a longer story, but I'll tell you that sometime later. Right now, I think the Admiral wants to talk to you." Before that could happen, 2 security officers came from Rinch's office, pulling the Grand Postmaster along. "You 2 meddling kids think you might have won, but I'll have my revenge on you." He paused and looked at Olivia's toy hamster. "And your little hamster, too." Then the security officers took him away. Hackett finished talking to Yenna and turned to Mac. "Ah, Mr. Tyler, excellent timing. I'm happy to tell you that the Systems Alliance Senate has unanimously supported my call to fire Grand Postmaster Rinch and appoint a replacement." Mac was about to ask who, but then realized why he was here. "Me, Grand Postmaster?" He swallowed, then took a deep breath. "Okay, I'll do it, but only if Yenna takes over as New York Postmaster." She nodded, the look on her face making it clear that now that Mac was her boss, she didn't mind being in charge anymore. Okay, so what do you want me to do, Admiral? All the letters to Santa have already been shredded. Don't worry, he has a plan, Olivia said. You don't become an admiral without having good plans. Hackett did something he rarely did. He smiled. And Mac got the feeling that Olivia's comment had been right on the money. 10 minutes later, news crews filmed and cameras flashed as Admiral Stephen Hackett explained his plan to save Christmas. Mac was surprised by the speech. Surely a man his age knew that Santa wasn't real, that it was actually the parents who bought the presents and put them under the Christmas tree. But then he realized that Stephen Hackett was the kind of man who had no problem playing along to make children happy. Sure, they would find out Santa wasn't real eventually, but they would simply figure it out or their parents would break them the news. It should not be thrown at them by a cruel man who simply wanted to make more people like him. So he held Olivia's hand and listened to Hackett's speech.
Christmas is more than a day. That's why it's not too late. It's people, it's a feeling that nobody will be stealing. Don't let rich win, I'll tell you where to begin. Keep the warmth in your heart, that's a good place to start. And hugs are always good, put you in an even better mood. Write new letters to Santa, from the Citadel to Atlanta. It'll all work out, that's what humanity is about. We didn't get to the stars by giving up, and we're not gonna stop. Your letters will get to the North Pole, not shredded at home.
That evening, 3 people sat on the roof and watched Buenos Aires. Olivia, Mac, and Steve. In an occurrence so rare that if you had mentioned it to anybody in the System Alliance Navy, they would have committed you to a mental asylum, Hackett was wearing civilian clothes. Tonight, he wasn't an admiral. Tonight, he was just Steve. A man who hoped that Mr. DeSalle's ice cream was as good as he remembered, and who was watering at the mouth from the smell of Miss Erickson's mashed potatoes with steak and beans. Olivia was telling Mac the story of how she had found the copy of A Tale of Two Cities and making quite the spectacle out of what had happened before Mac had arrived at the New York office. Hackett smiled another of his rare smiles. The galaxy could wait one evening. Tonight, he was having dinner and enjoying himself. The end